how's it going? I'm Casey Martin for Wine Country Pens and Wine Country Woodworks, and this is going to be a tips and tricks video on moisture problems with resin. So the most amount of experience I have is particularly with Alumilite resin, but these problems pertain to all the different types of resin that people use with casting, that whether it's epoxy, polyester resin, anything like that. Moisture problems are everywhere and they come in a lot of different ways, and people aren't always quick to attribute the problem they're having to being moisture when it actually is. So first and foremost, that's what we're going to talk about, which is how do I tell if I'm having a problem with moisture versus, a problem with mixing or some other type of problem. So the first and foremost problem that you'll see with moisture happens a lot when you're embedding items, whether that's wood or any other item you're embedding. So first, if you're embedding wood, you need to make sure that wood is obviously completely dry. Now, a problem I've had, and I've also had other people have this problem who have asked me questions after stabilizing wood, is why am I, getting bubbles, or why is there a milky line between where the wood and the resin touch? And I'll show you guys some close-ups of some examples I have from a long time ago when I had some mess ups from moisture, and I'll put that over the screen as I'm talking to show you guys up close. But so that's one where you have a milky line touching the resin and the wood. Another is if you have bubbles just anywhere in the resin. The main reason for that is probably moisture. You could have not pressurized your resin in time. If you're doing a pressure casting resin, you could have mixed it too slow or incorporated too much bubbles if you were doing a type of resin that doesn't use pressure. That could be the problem, but if there's a large amount of bubbles around the wood or whatever item you're embedding, it's mainly probably due to moisture. If if you do the tips I'm going to talk about in a second to avoid this and you're still having that problem, well, then now you know that it's definitely not from moisture. So those are kind of the two main ways. There's a lot of different ways the milkiness can be shown. It's usually though between the resin and the wood, and sometimes it'll look so bad that you'll get kind of foamy stuff, and I'll show you guys a close-up of this if I haven't already. And it's really bad, and you can definitely tell once you know what you're looking for that it's because of moisture. So now getting on to how to solve this. Obviously we want to heat up the wood to get rid of the moisture, but one of the things I really quickly wanted to mention, and I started to earlier but I forgot to finish about stabilizing, is a lot of people think once they stabilize wood, okay, great, all the moisture is gone, it's been replaced with stabilizing resin, I never have to worry about a moisture problem again with stabilized wood. And that's not true. So what is true is the heart of that wood, the main majority of that wood, doesn't have moisture anymore, or shouldn't be a problem with having moisture. But what can happen if that wood is sitting out, just in the air, and from the ambient moisture in the air, you can get surface moisture. And that's why when a lot of people have moisture related problems, it's right on the surface of the resin touching the wood, because that's where the moisture is and that's where you'll get all the bubbles and all of that. So I'll get into how to avoid that even if you have stabilized wood in a second, or if it's not stabilized. So I really quickly wanted to mention that because I know when I first started stabilizing wood, I thought, oh great, I never have to worry about this again. And then I had that problem happen to me a couple times and I was like, crap, well, it still needs to be avoided. So now moving on to how to avoid it. What I do with stabilized wood is pretty similar to what I do with non-stabilized wood, but the timing is different. And it's very, very simple. All I'll do with stabilized wood that has already been through the process, and I know it might just have some surface moisture and that's it, I'll put it in the toaster oven for 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. If you want to be really safe, you could go longer than that, but I've never had a problem with moisture after having it in there for 15 to 20 minutes. When I'm doing wood that I haven't stabilized, and this isn't that often, it's only when I'm doing really dense hard woods like, you know, some of the Australian burls or things like that, then I will put it in the toaster oven for like 30 to 40 minutes or even longer. I'll just kind of put it in there when I have something to do that will take up a lot of time, and then I'll take it out after. You guys really don't need to worry too much about casting warm wood. At the first time I was like, okay, well, I should let this cool back down before I cast it. I don't want it to start, you know, curing faster than normal, and I've never had that be a problem. The wood definitely cools down quick enough within the 5 minutes or so it takes you to start mixing up your resin and then pouring it in over that. I've never had a problem with that. If somebody has, let me know, but I feel pretty confident you guys don't have to, like, you know, let it sit for 10-15 minutes after heating it up. Because the main reason you also don't want to do that for super long is because then you're going to have to start over. As soon as the wood starts cooling down, well, the way it's cooling down technically is it's pulling the air around it is pulling the heat from the wood, and it's basically pulling the coolness, if you want to think of it like that, from the air, and that's technically giving it a little bit more moisture. So you actually don't want to let it sit for too long. So that's pretty much what you want to do, and of course the times will vary, but you know, the technique or the tip to fix this is very, very simple. But I get this question all the time. I get sent pictures all the time of moisture related problems that I really wanted to make this video to just kind of walk through what a problem that is moisture related looks like, so that you guys can know, okay, now I know how to fix it, and then give you guys the super quick and easy way to fix it. So please like this video if you guys liked it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and definitely comment down below on any other tips and tricks that you guys think you could use help with, or some problems you're having, and I could make a informational video on that if I think it would help enough people. And always feel free to email me at casey@winecountrypens.com for questions regarding this stuff. I love helping people out, and I thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.